Okay, hello everyone. I am showing you how to enhance your Revit rendering in Photoshop. Again, in the video format, as my voice is still in a bad condition. So when I will wear a mask, I'm not able to talk properly. So I just want to make sure you guys are clear what you have to do it. So let's get started. So let's go in a file and you will open your sketchy file and your rendering. Okay, so I will just select my reception and reception outline. I'll just click Control so I can open both the files. Okay, so this is your backdrop or a background image or your reception image. This is your sketchy outline. Okay, so whenever you are doing any kind of rendering or enhancing any rendering, make sure you make a copy of your original file. So what I will do, I will just duplicate this layer and save as a reception. And the background is locked. I will just turn off. And then this is reception outline. So I will go in that and I will right click and make a duplicate layer. And I will save that a sketchy outline. And I will change my destination document to reception. I will say okay. So now you have to go in the reception and then you will see the sketchy outline is already there, but it's difficult to see the backdrop, right? So for the sketchy outline, you have to change the mode of this layer from normal to multiply. Okay, so if you have done both the layers, both the images and on the same DPI, like 300 DPI, they will overlap right away. If you have anything like one is 150, one is 300, something will be smaller or something will be bigger. So make sure both are on the same DPI, okay, same pixel. Okay, so that's the sketchy outline is done. Okay, so basically we have put both the files together. Now we have to enhance our drawing. So first thing what I will do, I will go in reception. I will select the layer reception and enhance the rendering. To go and enhance the rendering, you need to select this yin yang, select that and go in curves. Okay. And then if you see, you get this kind of histogram. You need to play around with the overall lighting or overall contrast or exposure in your drawing. So this is the mountain kind of excuse me. Is this dark part and this is the lighter part. So if you see, this is your original, and if I have to just pull like this, it changes everything, right? So let's see in here. This is original. So what I will do, I will add 2 points, one in here and one in here. So we can adjust the dark shades in our drawing, and then we can adjust the lighter shades in the drawing. So I will just add 1 point in here and just gently pull towards the dark side. And then I will just add 1 point in here and then pull like this way. So now you can see, like you can just adjust the drawing however you want to see, like colors. If you are satisfied, you're done. So that's the one step that you have to work on. Now, next step is we need to we need to add the light. So I'm not going in too much detail because you can just see how you want to work colors, and if it's comfortable to your taste, you're perfectly fine. Okay. So now what I will do, I will go again in layers. Okay. So I'll just copy in here. Okay. So now this was one step we are done. Now we need to add shine to this light, right? So now what I will do, now I will make a new layer. Sorry. Yeah, let's just keep it like this in here first. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Now we need to add like shine to your drawing, this drawing, right? So what I will do, I will make a new layer. So what you need to do, you need to add Control Shift and N. Control Shift and N. Why it's not working? Okay. Control Shift N. You will get a new layer. So this is like a special layer where you need to change something in here. So I will just say the shine or a glow to the light. Okay. Then I will change the mode to color dodge. Okay. And don't forget to click check fill with color dodge neutral color. That's more important. Okay. Glow, the light glow. Okay. I will say okay. That's your new layer. Okay. It's in color dodge. Now what you need to do, you need to go select the brush tool. I select the brush tool and change general brushes. Like a soft brush, and change like opacity as you want. And then the flow, you need to reduce the flow around like 20-25. And I will change this as per my glow. You can just adjust the size of the glow as per your drawing. Okay. Uh, and then, sorry, when you select everything, you need to select this color as a white, or maybe more of a like a glow, not the dull, but just okay. And then Can you see the glow? See, you can change the flow, like increase or decrease the flow as per your requirement to show the glow to the light. I will add that glow to this part as well. If you want to reduce it, you can just reduce it, or you can just change the opacity. You can make it a bit lighter depending upon how you want it. Okay, so this was the globe or like a pendant light. But if you see here, it takes time. Okay. If you see here, this is again a light fixtures, but they are not glowing. So what I will just do, I will go in sketchy outline, because if you remember, we have the outline already there, right? So I will just select inside, Control D, sorry. I will select inside of each light. And then I will select the paint, and I will go in a glow light in that layer. And then I will just, maybe I will just increase the flow. You see how it looks? Yes. Excuse me. So you can just add like this way, Control D, Control D, Control Z. So now if you're not able to select like this way, you can just use a lasso tool to select the light. And then again, use the same brush to let it, Control D. So this way you have a nice glow of the light, and then change this in here. Okay. So this was about the lightings, okay? Now I will talk about how you can add the human figures. I have already showed you how you can add the human figures, but I will show you how to add shadows to human figures and then to Rajas and everything, okay? So now what I will do, I will just go in files and I will open everything, whatever I have to put. I will just select this person, Control D, sorry. No. Oh, I will open that. Again, I will file open. I will just keep open everything, whatever I have to add. Okay. Now I will just select any of the person. So I will select her and transfer her to our reception rendering. So I will do duplicate layer. I will say human 1, and then I will change the destination document to reception. Okay, I will go in here. She's in there. Can you see? So I will just put that human above the sketchy line to avoid the lines over her. And then you need to control. See, this is the move, like a plus. This is a move tool. So you will select it and then you can move her. So I will just move her behind the reception. So I want her to be behind the reception table. So I will change her scale as well. So I will do Control T and I will just make it a bigger. This way. enter. Now she's there, but I wanted to show just behind the counter or like reception table. So I will just cut this part in her so she will look like she's behind the table. So what I will do, I will select the rectangular marquee tool and put over her and delete the selection. Okay, so now she's there. Control V, Control T. Maybe just make it a bit slightly smaller so that she's done. Now I will add another human. So that's done, right? I will just delete this. Now I will add him to our drawing. So I will just duplicate the layer. I will rename it as human 2. Select the document destination to reception. Okay. I'll go in reception and delete the reception. Okay, so the human 2 is already there. So let me just zoom out. Then again, use a move tool. This is the plus sign you will use. I will put him in here. I will use Control T. It looks a bit bigger, so I'll just make sure. Okay. So I put in him there. Okay. Now we need to copy, like duplicate this layer. I will just duplicate that layer. Human 2. I will save as shadow. And I will put that file below him. Okay. And then I will go in blending option in the shadow. I will say color overlay. And I will select like more of a darker layer. I will say okay. So you didn't see what happened there, but if you just turn off this, you have a black person behind that shadow. Okay. So we have a shadow of this human. So what I will do, I will select the shadow layer. I will do the Control T. I will rotate. Okay. Rotate that 90. Okay. Control Z. I will rotate that 90 counterclockwise. I want to have some shadow on this side. Control T. I will just keep it like this in here. But obviously, the shadow will not be like this, right? We have to deform it and make it in a perspective. So I will just keep like this and then right click. So Control T or edit in transform. So I will make it distort. And then I will just change it. The shadows can be longer, shorter according to the light. And if you see here, sunlight is coming from this side. So that's why I've just added some shadow on this side. Okay, now you have the shadow, Control T. But if it's too, Control T, I will just move a bit closer to the shoes, okay? Approximately it should match. Now, it is too obvious, right? We need to make it a bit blur or and then lighter or like reduce the opacity. So what I will do, I will go in the shadow and reduce the opacity like written like around 70%, 70 to 60 in between. Okay. And still it's the same. If you just want to change the color to like matching to your floor, you can do that too. Okay, now I will go in a filter. I will select shadow layer is still selected. I will go in a filter, a blur, and this time I will do the shape blur. Okay, I will just see where is that shade shadow. Let's see. So let's see. I will make it 20 and see how it looks. Now can you see? It's already getting blurred. If you want to go more, you can do that, or you, if you're happy with it, you can keep like that. Can you see now? You can see the shadow there. Now, if you want to add same kind of shadow to this kind of furniture, so this is like more of a lighter in here. So what I will do, I will just add. I will keep in the same shadow mode. There's just a bit shadow in here. Okay, now I will just change. Okay, I will use the gradient option, change the color, gradient style, go in a basic. Use this one. I will change color to maybe a darker shade like that. Okay, and I'll show the gradient from here to here. Control D. Now you can just add a blur. If you just want to make it in a new layer, you can just make that new layer, or you can just keep it in there. But it's just kind of, this line is overpowering. So what I can do, I can just Control D. I will just blur this. Control D. So I will just make a new layer. I will not, I will just erase this one. So I will just erase this one. And then I will just select the brush tool and match the color. Control D. Around like this way. And I will make a new layer just to add some shadow. Okay, I have already selected the brush layer. Okay. And then just okay. Just add, it should be a bit darker. So what you can do, you can just select multiply or darken, however you want to use it. A color burn, like it depending how you want to use it, and then you can just change the opacity to reduce it, and then you can just erase. So if you have to see, this is, it's like coming over in here. So to erase that, there is like a wave kind of a key next to the one. You can use that, and then control. Just use eraser. I don't know. Just to erase. But you can add some that kind of shadows in there. Now I will add more entourages there. So I will open. I've done, this work is done. Okay, now I will just add that magazine. I will make a duplicate layer. Select, I will just say entourages. One or whatever. Reception, okay. That is there. Use that plus sign to move. So I will just Control T. Add that magazine on this table. Okay. Now we have added the magazine. For entourages, if you think that entourages are overpowering, you can just go and reduce. Where is the entourage? Okay, you can reduce the opacity. So if you see this is human 2, you can just reduce the opacity to 97 or 95 or 90. Then entourage I can just change to a bit like lighter so it can blend with the thing. That's the shadow. The same way you can add the shadow. So I will just shadow object shadow. Okay. Like now, where is entourage? Okay. So I will just add some shadow to entourage as well, or the magazine as well. So I will go in blending option. I will say drop shadow, and you can just change the distance this way, and that will make your drawing more realistic. Can you see now? It has some shadow there. It has some shadows there. So you can just change the color of the shadow as well. Let's add anything else. Okay, let me just. Let's add this one, and I will add, let's change the backdrop as well. So okay. So this again, I will blending option, duplicate. Sorry. Duplicate layer. Entourage to entourage to. I'm so sorry. I'm just missing something. I will go duplicate, entourage, change the document destination to reception. Okay. Go in reception, zoom in. Now the entourage is here. I will say Control T. I will just reduce the size and I will just place that maybe next to the reception. Control T. Okay, now I will just go in the shadow, object shadow, and use the brush, like reduce this. Now I will add some shadow on the T, like just a bit. So it will give the depth. You can change the opacity of entourage a bit lighter. Not that much, but it can blend in the drawing of the rendering. That's it. Okay, now what else I will show you. Okay, now if you sometimes if your texture is not visible in Revit rendering, you can add that the way we have added in the hybrid rendering. Okay, so I will show you that again. So this is like I have just pull out any like the texture of travertine marble. I will go in edit, I will make a define pattern, so it will be in my patterns in Photoshop. I will go in here, then I will select the area that where I have to put that travertine marble. So I will go in reception, like main file, then I will use my lasso tool to select the boundary. You can zoom in and then make it. I'm just doing this quickly. Okay, so that's your backdrop. So what I will do, I will make a solid color. I will say, okay, I will rename that as a backdrop or the reception backdrop. Okay, then we will make another rectangle in front of it where we will apply the materials. Okay, I have added that. I will rename that. Where did it go? Oh, that rectangle should be above the backdrop. So we make sure it is above the backdrop. So I will select the rectangle backdrop. I will say rename it as again a backdrop. So I know that they both are the same. Now you need to apply a texture to it. So what we will do, we will double click on this, go in the pattern overlay, select the travertine marble, select the scale. If you're happy, say okay. Now, if you just do Control T, it will not take the backdrop perspective, right? Because the grains will not change. So if you see, if I just do this dot, it will just change the shape, but not the grains perspective. So what you will do, you need to right click on this, on the backdrop or the rectangle, what you have selected, convert to smart object, and then Control T or edit transform, right click and distort, and then you can change the perspective of your drawing. So I will just do this. I will, now you have to merge both the layers. So click Alt. So when you click Alt and in between the backdrop layer, you will get this kind of square and then the enter key kind of thing. Enter it and it will take the backdrop. Okay. Now this was it. Now what if you have a different font that you are not able to draw or show on the reception desk or any of the different kind of font that you need to show. So what we can do, let's go in a text. Okay, I will draw a text box in here. I want to okay, that's there already there. So let me just select the text box. It is getting slower. Okay. Let's select the text. Okay, increase the size, maybe 50. Change the font, like kind of a different. I will select maybe this one. And then I will write, okay, rendering. Okay. I will select move, oops, Control Z. I have to select the text. Okay. Make sure whenever you're working, make sure you're selecting the layer in your working. Control Z, why? So that's my rendering. I will just make it Control T and move with the move sign. Why? Let's do the Control T. No, rendering, Control T, and then just move in the center. But again, if you see here, it's just a flat text, right? You can change the color of the text, whatever you want to select in here. So if I have to select the texture like color, you can just select the color in here and change the color to whatever you want to have it. Okay. Now, but it's still a flat layer, right? So what I can do, I can just go in blending option. And if you remember, we use the bevel and emboss texture to emboss the furniture in a plan. So this is bevel and emboss. I can just use kind of emboss or outer overlay. I can just see depth. I can increase the size. Like you can just play around. You can add contours to it. You can add texture to it. You can just see. Chisel heart, inner bevel. See, this is kind of texture. You get it. Depth you can increase, reduce. You can change the direction up, down. Size, reduce the size. Okay, that's, you can play around however you want to. Okay, now we need to change because this is, even though it's here, why didn't this didn't change? Okay. The texture didn't change. Control T, I did it, right? Yes. Then what I can do, I can just convert to quick smart object. When I do the convert to smart object, you can Control T and then distort. So when you distort, they will distort in perspective. And you can change however you want to change it. Okay, that's done. Now, if you want to see that if sometimes some letters are like backlit, some letters has glow, like, so what we can do, we can just see if we can add some shadows or outer glow kind of thing. I'm not sure how much the glow you will able to see in here. Yeah, you can see the glow. Can you see that? You can just change the spread. You can change the opacity and you can see. So this is like a small techniques that you can learn. And if you want to show just a shadow, that's not the inner shadow, you need to show the drop shadow. You can have some drop shadow as well, but depending upon how the lettering is. So that's it. Whatever I can think of, I have shown you in this recording. If you just okay, for the elevation as well, you will work on the same thing, just it will be on a two-dimensional drawing, right? So there will be not much perspective there, so it will be much more easier. For humans, again, you will not see any shadows in there too. So elevation will be much more easier compared to the renderings. Still, if you have any question, do write to me. I will try to help you in Thanksgiving break. And thank you for understanding my condition. I'm so sorry. Okay, so see you. Bye. I will see you in the class in some time. Bye-bye.